Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another Buzzing Chat show here on Buzzing Pattaya, and to today's discussion, which is what's it really like running a bar here, being a manager. What are the things you need to be aware of? What are the pitfalls? You know, everybody seems to consider this as living the dream, but is it really living the dream? So we're going to dig into that, and I want to just go through some stuff that I think you maybe perhaps don't think about, or things or areas that I want to discuss that I think you should know about, and certainly highlight some of the issues that I've seen over the years here, where people have come here managing the bars thinking, yes, that's it, I've arrived, and sadly they leave in a completely different way to the way they arrived. So before we get into that, guys, please, as always, have a look at Discord. 9,000 members now, which is amazing. It's fantastic. So thank you very much for coming over there. We are building and building and building, and hopefully, those people on there are enjoying what we're doing, and there's a lot of resources on there. So have a look and check it out. And lastly, I just want to say a thank you to David Strachan. He's the guy that's been out on his push bike for me, getting me the footage that I'm going to overlay while I talk away. So thank you, David. Much appreciated. All right, so what is it really like being a bar manager? People come over here, they meet the bar managers, and they say, oh God, you're so lucky, I really wish I did your job. You've got the dream job, you're surrounded by beautiful girls and a beautiful place, etc., etc. And it really does look like that. However, there are some issues that you really do need to take into account. So what I want to do is I'm going to go through step by step and just highlight some of the things that maybe we've overlooked. So the first thing that you need to do is establish, what is the difference between an owner manager, and a manager. So obviously, as an owner of the bar here, they've got a much more vested interest in the financial aspect. For them, it's a business. They're not necessarily attached to the bar in terms of sitting in there night after night. So for them, this is more of an investment, and it's just a business to them. So you're not likely to see many of the owners. There's quite a few owners here that have got several establishments, and you will never ever meet them. They stay right out the way. You've then got the owner manager. Now that's a slightly different kettle of fish, because what he does is obviously he owns his bar, but also he will be in the bar a lot more. So he won't employ the manager, and he's there really just to try and meet and greet, oversee things. Normally they'll have like a mama-san, who's the person that's in charge of the girls and helps him with the girls and the language barrier if you can't speak the language. So that's what an owner-manager kind of does. Normally, they're the smaller kind of bars, normally. Not always, but normally they're the smaller kind of bars. And then you've got the manager, that person that we all perceive to have the most fantastic job in the world, and he's the luckiest man alive. Well, I'm going to disagree. I think they've got an incredibly tough job, and one I certainly wouldn't want to do. And you're sitting there thinking, well, hang on, Trevor, you're about to open up the Buzzing Bar. Yes, we are. Hopefully, the time of making this video, we should be open in a couple of weeks. But I'm not going to be the manager. We're not going to have a manager. And what's going to happen is I will go in there a couple of days a week to hold meetups, meet and greets. And then on a Friday, we'll do our bar crawl. But I'm not going to go into being the bar manager, and I'll simply explain the reasons why going through these. So the first thing you need to do is identify the difference between the type of bars that are out here that you may or may not be invited to manage. So we've got the girly bars. The girly bars are basically like the soy six kind of bars, where really the focus is on the girls and not on the manager. So those type of bars, when you're a manager there, what you're sort of like really doing is you're overseeing any issues, overseeing any problems, but you're not really involved in the day-to-day aspect of the bar. That's generally speaking the mama-san and of course the girls. You've then got the drinking style of bars. So these bars are where the expats and the tourists will come that are not looking for the girls, but really want to sit down and have a beer and meet other guys and meet other connections and go off and have their evening's entertainment. So those kind of bars, that's a lot more of a hands-on experience for you as a manager, because you're going to be there and they're going to expect to see you, they're going to expect to communicate with you, looking for advice, looking for help, looking for information, and that's the kind of drinking bar. Then you've got the gentlemen's clubs. Now these are becoming more and more popular, but the role for the manager in a gentleman's club is more about making sure the customers are taken care of, making sure they're happy, liaising with the mama-san, and just sort of day-to-day activities. But it is a commitment. You're going to be there every single day apart from your day off. And then you've got the nightclub managers, and that's a completely different animal in terms of they are overseeing the whole business, and they're not people orientated. They're not going to communicate with customers. They'll be far too busy. There's far too many customers. So that's kind of like a step aside, looking down from above and think, right, what do we need to do? Is the DJ doing well? Are the dancers dancing? Are they getting the attention of the service staff working? That's kind of the managerial aspect of a nightclub. So based on you as an individual, it's really important that you try to marry up what your personality is like with the style of bar you're trying to find a manager's job in, or you may be managing. Because if you're not a people person and you're going to be a manager in a gentleman's club or a drinking bar, you're going to fall short. Likewise, if you are a people person and you're managing in a girly bar, you're not really going to find a suitable balance, because the customers don't really come there to speak to the manager. They're coming there to speak to the girls. So really give it some thought. If you are looking at coming out here, give it some serious thought as to your own personality. And it pays to be honest. You know, it really does. You've got to be honest with yourself, because if you're honest with yourself, you're giving yourself at least a fighting chance of survival out here. So when we're talking about survival, we're talking about the manager's role. Why am I saying it's a tough job? Why am I saying it's a survival? Well, it is. Simply put, it really, really is. So let's talk about money. Managers earn their money by a salary, and from my experience, I'm not talking about every manager, but from my experience, the salaries are not overly generous. They're normally ranging between 20,000 baht a month to, say, 40,000 baht a month, roughly, and I'm not saying everybody, just in general. And when you break that down, that's just over 1,000 baht a day if you're 30,000 upwards, or less than 1,000 baht a day if that's your salary bracket. And that's not a lot of money. But some of the bars will give you a free room, so you'll get a free room possibly. You'll get to eat or drink for free in the bar that you're working in, so obviously that will save you money. And in some bars, they do manager drinks. Now, this is something I won't do in the buzzing bar. I'm not interested in this at all. But a lot of places will offer a manager's drink commission, so a bit like a lady drink, where he will get 50 baht on every drink that you buy. So if he gets a few drinks during the day, well, then he's topped his salary up. So the salary aspect, it's not massive amount of money. Now, if you're coming here for the lifestyle, I think a manager's role is probably the worst one that you could ask for, simply because of the commitment that's involved in being a manager. So when you look at the finances, you know, 30,000 baht, let's just say, you get a room, you can eat free food and drink in the bar, which again is a saving. You know, if you are the sort of person who likes to have a few beers every day, well, you're going to save yourself maybe 300, 400, 500 baht a day on drinks. And if you get free food, you're going to save yourself money on that, plus a free room. So it can balance out, but in general terms, having 1,000 baht a day in your pocket to spend after you've got free room, free food, free drink, isn't a lot of money, in my opinion. So what's the commitment? Well, the commitment here is incredible. You know, you're going to be working 6 days a week in general. You might get 1 day a week off. You're going to be sitting in the bar night after night after night after night. And if that's your thing, well, then you go on and crack on. But I've got to say, rose-tinted glasses. What seems to be a fantastic environment to sit in will suddenly become a chore, and it's hard work. These guys that manage the bars here, they work really hard, a lot harder than people give them credit for. And I certainly couldn't do it. I wouldn't even wish to sit in a bar 6 days a week, because it really does take its toll on you. And look at the hours. The hours that they're working are very unsociable. You know, most managers will be starting about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know, they'll do a 10-hour shift. And that's a long, long day. 6 days a week, 10-hour days, you know, you're starting to get the picture now. It's not quite as rosy as maybe it seemed from the initial thoughts. The girls. You're surrounded by beautiful girls day in, day out. Now, it's a very difficult and a touchy subject, this one, because a manager should keep his distance, in my opinion. I do know some managers that get close to the girls, but for me personally, I think they should remain professional and keep their distance. The manager very rarely has a lot of input with the actual girl. Normally they'll go through to the mama-san, unless they don't have a mama-san, in which case you're going to deal with the girls. And trust me, the girls that you're working with are very highly strung. You know, they emotional. They will have issues and problems that they will bring to the table that maybe you think, oh my Lord, you know, really? And you know, what do you want me to do about that? So it's a really, really tough job interacting with the girls, and that's where the mama-san comes in. Also, you'll have the language barrier. You know, if you can't communicate with the girls, you're going to struggle. So it does pay to be able to speak a bit of the language, if nothing else, the basics. So when you're surrounded by all these girls, day in, night in, night out, it is very, very difficult, because temptation is at your fingertips. And if you do go down that route, which I would strongly advise you don't, but if you do, then you know that kind of, you lose a lot of respect with the girls, because they all talk to each other, they all know the score. So it's not quite as glamorous as you would imagine, because you're surrounded by all these girls, and realistically speaking, what you shouldn't be is interacting. So is it a dream job? You know, you're sitting there with like 30 girls around you, thinking, oh my Lord, and it's like, you cannot. Our survey says no. So even though you've got that environment, it does become quite boring, and it's very, very restrictive. Trouble. You know, when you go into these management roles, there are issues with customers. Don't forget, it's a drinking environment, so you know, when people have had far too many drinks, you know, I speak from experience, having worked the doors for many years, I'm used to dealing with these kind of problems, and it depends on you as an individual as to how you try to deal with that. The last thing you want to do is put a can of petrol on a burning flame, because if someone is drunk and you're trying to deal with the situation, it's always better to be receptive, acknowledge their issues, calm them down, and try and deal with it the best way possible. If you're not that kind of person and you're highly strung, then a management role is going to cause you problems, because the last thing you want is to kick off, for two reasons. One, it's unprofessional, and secondly, well, you're in a point of work, so they know where you are, whereas you won't know where they are. Do you see where I'm coming from? So, you know, you are going to be faced with drunk people. There's going to be issues about, oh, my bin's wrong, I haven't had these drinks, you're trying to rip me off. You know, there'll be issues with the girls, oh, you know, she's this, she's that, I'm not happy, blah, blah, blah. So you've got to start thinking on your feet. So as a manager, you are going to be faced with issues regarding the girls, regarding the customers, and you're going to have to deal with that. I think the worst thing is this one I'm going to talk about now, is you're in a bar 6 nights a week, and you're going to be invited to drink consistently and continually. Customers will come in, they're going to see you, hey, how you doing, mate? Can I get you a drink? Can I get you a drink? Can I get you a drink? And it is just going to take its toll on you, both physically and mentally. You know, when you've had a skinful, you wake up the next day, you're feeling lethargic, oh God, I've got to go to work again today. You know, it really can take its toll on you. So even though this seems to be a dream job, the reality is there's quite a lot of things that you need to consider. You know, what type of environment are you in? You know, are you the right person for that environment? Because if you're not, it's going to come back and really haunt you. The money side of it, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme here. You know, you're going to have to budget. You're going to have to watch what you're spending. You're going to have to say to yourself, right, this is my salary, this is what I'm living on, and you're going to have to work along those boundaries. The hours are very, very long. You know, it doesn't sound it, but it is. It's a 10-hour shift. And you're working every night. So you're not actually working during the day, you're working through the night. So your evenings are now gone. They are no longer yours. So you're now going to be working all the unsociable hours that there is, and everyone else is going to be having fun, and you're going to sit there and go, yep, this is great, I'm working. The girls, you know, temptation is there. You're surrounded by beautiful girls day in, day out, week in, week out, and you've got to be disciplined. I know guys here, managers here that have had a bit of a dabble, etc., and it's always, 9 times out of 10, it's always come back to haunt them. And the old thing is, oh, I wish I'd never done that. So, you know, again, temptation is right on your doorstep. The commitment. When you come into this environment, you're going to be working 6 days a week, you're going to have a day off, it's going to be long hours, it's going to be a tough, tough grind. You're sat in a bar all those hours, day in, day out. So you've got to be mentally prepared for what is going to be a very tough commitment. It may not seem it, but it is. Dealing with issues. How are you going to deal with trouble? How are you going to deal with the customers, with the girls? All these kind of issues are aspects of this day-to-day lifestyle that is perceived to be living the dream that you've got to think about. And drinking, you know, do you want to rinse your liver day in, day out? And that's what you're going to be doing. And even more so, don't forget, if you are getting the manager's drink with a commission on top, well, then the incentive is to get more drinks. And that way you earn a bit more money. So hopefully the video is just giving you a bit more insight as to what to expect. You know, it's very easy. People come over here and they're like, oh, you're so lucky, you're living the dream, oh, you're surrounded by this girl, I'd love to do your job. And honestly, I've lost count how many people have come here that I knew that started off as a bar manager and have either drunk themselves into the ground, or they've just decided, you know what, I can't do this, I'm out of it, and they head off. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that's a bit more of an insight for you. I don't know, what do you think? Could you be a manager in a bar here? Is that the kind of environment that you think you would be suited to? And if it is, fine. If it isn't, what would be your biggest issue? What would be the one thing that you think, do you know what, I'd like to do it, but, you know, we're very lucky here. We're living in a wonderful city. You know, there's good climate, it's good weather. It's, you know, it's a great city. It really is. And things are slowly starting to improve now. We're slowly starting to get back on our feet, which is you know, couldn't happen quick enough. It really can't. The 11 o'clock evening curfew now, which has been moved from 9 till 11, so that's even better. You know, you've seen some of the videos where I've been out of an evening. It is starting to lift. It's starting to become more of the old Pattaya that we remember. Yes, we've got a long, long way to go now. There's no doubt about that. We've still got a long way to go, but nevertheless, we are stepping forward. But there you go. So if I was to say to you guys, you can manage any bar here that you want, which bar would you manage and why? And is a bar manager's job something you think you could do? Don't know. Over to you guys. I'll let you have a think about that. All right, and on regards to the buzzing bar, hopefully that'll be opening in the very near future, and I look forward to seeing. I'm going to hold like coffee mornings, well, midday meetups. So it'll be a lunchtime meetup where we're going to share information about what's going on here, just update you on stuff. It's no beers, not for me anyway, not the midday stuff. And then we're still doing our Friday bar crawls, and hopefully we'll look to increase those to bring maybe 2 bar crawls a week rather than 1. And I've got someone else in mind to take over that bar crawl. All right, so that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and like I say, thank you to David for the overlays there. He's been out on his push bike. Check out his channel, YouTube channel, David Strachan. So thanks, David, for getting out there and getting busy. That's it from me, guys. As I say, you know, remember Discord, get on there, over 9,000 people, and it really is getting more and more information supplied on there. There's a lot of channels in there now. I've done the video. The video is down in the description below. Just have a look below this video, and you'll see how to use and get the most out of Discord. And it really, really is a fantastic platform. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a link in the description as well to support the channel. I think membership starts about 89p a month. And for that, what you do is you get a buzzing shot in some of the bars, participating bars. We've got more and more bars coming on board now. And I'm going to start, I've just got some stickers made. So I'm going to be putting stickers in little toilets to let you guys know where you can get your buzzing shot from once you show your card. And as I say, if you want to support it, I think it's about 89p, but it's, you know, it helps me. And thank you very much for all your support. All right, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. I'm dusted. Guys, please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. And I look forward to reading your comments on, could you be a bar manager? Don't know. I know I can't, so let's see what you guys think. All right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. And please, as always, wherever you are in the world, stay safe.